Okay, it is about 10:05, so we are ready to get going. Here is that exclusive one more time. This is what we're going to be putting together today. It is super easy. It's a very basic project, so wherever you are, with your skill level, you can do this project, I promise. And if you have a few simple flowers and foliages, you can complete this project easily. So, okay, let's get the camera switched around and let's get on to our project this morning. Okay, let's switch this around. Get you guys into the screen here. Now, this is kind of a long one, so I'm gonna have to make sure that I'm not off the screen with this. With this project. Here it is. Now, when I did this project, I put this other little bird up here on the top, and then I thought, why didn't I just put the dove up here? So I did that on the packaging, actually. So when you get your package, you can see on here that it's actually the dove. It's this one right here, and I just used the positioner and put it up on the post. So I just think they're just so cute, and they come in, this is one stamp here, the 3 doves. So you can easily stamp it kind of around this post, and it makes it really easy to line up. Okay, so we are going to do this project. This is it right here. And in addition to the exclusive set, we're going to use a few more things. So in this one, this is the Bible journaling foliage set 2. Now this, just because it's under Bible journaling, it works with all watercolor, and this is a great set. So it has a lot of foliage in it, and we're going to use these 2 little guys right here. And if Kendra were doing this project, she would be using the Kendra dots. So we may just throw those on there too. For those of you who don't know, Kendra has been bugging me for dots, a dot stamp for years, and I finally made her one, and she is kind of over the moon about it. So she uses it in everything. In this set, this is the foliage set, the very first one. We're going to use just the vine here. In the large tree set, now I'm going to use this one again. I absolutely love these stamps, and I'm going to use it as the foliage in here. So it's normally used as leaves for all of these trees, but it's so versatile. I've just been using it a lot more other ways, in different ways. So if you haven't bought this large tree set, I mean, just for this stamp alone, it's probably worth it because there are so many different ways. I used it yesterday in this project. I used it back here for the foliage in the background. It works great, even though there wasn't a tree back here. So I used it in that, and now I'm going to use it in these little pots as a foliage in here. So it's really a really nice versatile stamp. I love that about these things, that you can use them different ways. I think that just really adds to the value. The little branch here, my favorite. I'm starting to use this almost about in everything that I do. We're going to use it right here. Foliage set 4. This little leaf branch, we're going to use that with the little branch. Now in here, I use these little dots in the mini flower set, but you can also use these dots. So either one are going to work, in here. And of course you can use, whatever flowers that you have too. So, okay, we are ready to get going. This is it right here. And I've already stamped it just because I think that makes things, saves time. But I've stamped it in 2 colors. So the blue and the brown, which is what we normally stamp everything in. So 969 and 565. So these 2, blue first and then brown, and then stamped off twice. I stamped it off twice. So just because we want things to be light. And you can see here in these pots how everything kind of hangs over. There's lots of foliage and stuff going on here, and things growing over growing over the post. So it makes it so much easier when you do these things light, very light. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start out, as we do with any basic image, and just start out by pulling the color out of the lines. And this is going to be very light, where it's the darker. Now, even though this post is narrow, it's still contoured. So that means it's lighter in the center. So as we come down here, we're going to keep that color kind of concentrated on the side. And then under here, we can put a little shadow under here where this little curved area is. And you can see it's starting to look more three-dimensional. We'll do these little brackets. We'll do those a little bit later. And I'm just going to pull a little of this color out now, out of these little pots. And these pots are just, they're so versatile because you can change them up so much with the seasons and make a cute little Thanksgiving or fall scene just by switching out the colors. So it really, really changes a lot. You could put other things in here too. You could take these little pots off and put a big one in here and maybe a big one here. So it will be really versatile. And then of course you can use these little pots by themselves too. So just really, really fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and start adding in our foliage and our flowers in here. And I'm going to start with the lightest color, and that would be the yellow. So this is the 993. And let me just make sure that my stamp, since I'm using yellow, you guys, I mean, Kim would be thrilled. She loves yellow. She probably has yellow in every one of her projects. So I'm going to make sure that my stamps are cleaned off. And I'm just using a baby wipe here because if now see, I had blue on there. There's no way that yellow was going to show up until I clean these off. And I'm not very good at cleaning my stamps. Usually I do this. And did I show you this? Did I even say that I'm using the flowers? I did. Did I say that I'm using this one? So I said you could use the dots on here, but we are using this little daisy bunch too. So I've got that one, and I'm going to now ink this in the yellow. And you can hang things over the edge. So I'm just going to kind of stamp this a little bit over the edge like that. And you're going to go, in a circle. And some of them could be hanging down from the bottom. Some of them can be kind of cascading down around here. You just want to make sure that you're stamping these in here a bunch of times. So just like that. And you don't have to make them all the same. I have all of these pots the same, but you could totally mix that up too. Okay, so now that we've got this in here, I'm just going to add a little water to it and kind of soften this all up. And you can see when you're stamping, these things in, in a circle, in a repeat, you're going to get that light and dark variation, which is what we want to create a three-dimensional image here. Okay, so I'm just kind of dabbing at it and just kind of softening the lines. So now let's take our little, oh wow, look what I had on this one. That was some major red and yellow on here. So good I cleaned this one off. So we're going to take the blue, the light blue, 526, and we're going to ink this one up now. And I don't need to stamp it in here very many times, just a couple of times. And you can turn it too. But it's just really, really cute. And it really, really works well. And I'm just going to put maybe a little one down in here. Maybe I'll just grow another one up here. And blue and yellow, they're complementary, so they go really well together. And, you can kind of blend them in together. Get a little bit of that yellow into the blue and blue into the yellow, and just kind of soften these things up. I'm just kind of touching all these little areas. So I'm not painting anything. I'm just kind of touching it all with my brush to kind of soften it. Okay, so now let's add a little foliage in here. And I better just make sure this one's clean too. I've been doing a lot of fall scenes, and so I never quite know what's on these little foliages now, so there could be lots of orange and stuff on here. So I'm just adding a little of this now, just kind of a little bit here and there. Just put a couple in here too. And then just add a little water to it. Green and blue also blend really well together. So you can just kind of mix these things in. And you can see I just used part of that stamp. So I didn't, you know, if I were to try to stamp this whole thing in here, it's not going to work well. So I just inked the tip and just took a little of these, just a few of those leaves and just stamped them in here. And now I'm going to just add a little color back in the background before I do my accents. So you can see these little branches here. They're more of an accent stamp. So once you have everything done, you kind of stamp those in because they don't require any water. You're just going to kind of stamp those in and leave them be. So I'm going to move my palette over here now. And just take a little of this blue and put it on my palette. This is that 526. So this is the blue I'm using on this whole thing, 526. And then dipping my brush here, and I'm just going to take a little bit of this really, really lightly and just kind of brush it in here. Just a little bit. Just always dip your brush and pinch it off. You still want to do that, but you're just going to take a little bit of color. Just a little bit. And just put a little of this into the background. You can always go back and make things darker, but it's really hard to lighten it up. So it's just a good idea to start really light. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and add some color now to my little pots. And I'm just going to use this really pretty sage green. So this is a 228. And I really, really love this color. You can see I'm doing this later. So I've stamped a lot of this over the top, and I'm using this light color. So it's better to wait to add the color to the containers until after, so that you're not stamping over a lot of color. And see, I can just kind of add this color now, mostly on this side, since I've got my little florals over here. And I want to still have that that little highlight. Same over here. You're just kind of putting that color into the spaces that are left over. And again, start light. You can also totally mix this up too. You can make these all different if you want to. That'd be really cute. You could make these Southwest. Just change up your foliage and your flowers and just make it more of a Southwest theme. So as long as we've got our highlight in the center, you know, or a highlight showing somewhere here like this, these containers are going to look round. If we were to color them all in solid, they're going to be flat. And we'll lose the look of our little pot. So it's always going to be darker on the sides and at the bottom. And you don't have to get every little area. You know, it's good to leave some white spaces. You know, underneath, because these little pots are hanging, that's where it's going to be the darkest, where the sun isn't hitting those little pots. And this little lip here, that's also going to be darker. And you can see how that, just putting that little line in there, just kind of pop that out. And then, you know, we can put a little detail on here. I love stripes. And so this is always my go-to, is to put little stripes on here. I just think that dresses it up a lot. Make sure you put a little bend in it so that it's not just a straight line. And we've got a little decorative line on here. So cute. And you can see I've kind of left the color away from where this, you know, where these little florals are. So they look like they're kind of hanging over the top of the pot. Okay, so let's go on to our little post here, and we're gonna just kind of maybe mix the two of these colors together a little bit and get a little blue-green and put a little color in here. And I'm gonna switch over now to my tiny little brush. This is my number 1. And I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna kind of mix these colors together and just use both. And keep in mind, you still want to see that, that highlight in the center. You want to see that darker color, you know, on the edge, you know, as we're coming down. And then, you know, as we get down in here, I just put some little, little decorative, you know, lines in here to kind of give it some texture. Just very subtle. Just a little fluted design. And we can just kind of bring it down here as well. Anytime you see a little line like this, there's going to be a shadow there. Okay, so now we can go into these tiny little hooks here and just add some color. They don't, you know, they don't have to be solid. You can clearly see that they're just little hooks that these pots are hanging on. And this little area here, this would be a little bit darker because it kind of comes down. And it's kind of hidden a little bit, as with this in here. You know, it's all these little things, you know, they really make a difference. Just tiny little details. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's add some detail in here, and that would be with our little accents. So this one, these both go different directions. So this one goes to the left, this one goes to the right. So we can start out by doing that. And I'm just going to ink this with that really pretty sage green, and just put a couple of these in. And then this one. This one can go this direction. And you can see they don't really need a lot, you know, they don't need any water. They're really good just the way they are. Okay, that looks good. So let's add something growing up the little post here. And we're gonna do that with this little, the little branch and this little leafy branch. So these two. And I'm going to start out with a darker green. So let's do the dark green. This is the 249. Actually, I should probably clean that off too. Who knows what color is on there. Baby wipes work great. So does your thumb, you guys. I mean, I clean most everything off with my thumb. So I'm going to start out over here and just kind of bring this up like this. And just kind of grow it, you know, up and around. And you can do as much of this as you want. And then I'm going to take this, the 249. Actually, let's go with the lighter one. Let's go with the 228. And I'm just going to take one of these. And just kind of bring that around and just stamp this in here. And I'm going back to my bigger brush. And just softening all these little lines. And then once that's done, we can add the little dots in here. And I'm just going to use that dark blue this time. And I don't need them all. I can just stamp a few. So just a few in here, and that kind of changes the shape too. And these don't really need to have a lot of water either. You can add just a little bit to kind of soften them up. Like so. And we could actually put a little of the grass down below. So just like this. And I could just take a little of this darker green. And just put a little of this grass in here, just right around the post. And then I can add a little more green once I get those little doves in here too. Okay, so let's add the little doves in. Let's put the little one on the post first. So I just clean this off to make sure that I don't have any of these others inked up. And I'm going to use my positioner. And I'm just going to use this little guy right here. So I'm just going to ink him up. And I really want, you know, him to be pretty light. So I'm going to just get a piece of scratch paper here. A piece of scratch paper. And I'm going to ink him up in two colors. So the black and the dark brown. So the dark brown first. Make sure I don't get anything on there. The dark brown and then the black. And then because I'm stamping it on the positioner, that's going to take most of that ink off, just like it would be stamping it off. So I think I can just get him up here just like this. He's kind of looking over the top. And I can just tap on him and just put him right up there. So cute. So now I can just clean that off a little bit. And I'm going to do all of them. So I'm going to stamp all of these now. Same combination with the dark brown. And then the black over the top. And this time I'm going to stamp it off. Well, actually, you know what? I mean, it's going to stamp off onto the plexiglass. So, and let's put these little guys in here. Let's see, maybe right there. That's a good spot. And you don't want to press too hard anyway. You want them pretty light. Now you can see on here that I missed a little bit of this, so I can just take my pencil and color that line back in. And I'm going to take my little brush. So this is my number 1, and I'm really just going to pull the color out from the bottom. So leave the tops of these because they're white. These are little white doves. So we want to leave the color, the tops of them pretty light. And this little guy too. Just concentrate, you know, as you're pulling the color out, just concentrate the color to the bottom. And now, of course, we want to take our twin tone. So this is the black twin tone. And just get the little eye in here, the eyes in here, much darker. Just one dot. And then their little beaks. And then this guy up here. And now I can take some of this green and just pull a little bit of this green down. And, you know, if you want to make a little shadow and the light is coming straight down, think about the length of the little bird. Okay, so however long he is, that's where that little shadow is going to go. And you can just place it directly under him, just like that. Kind of puts them onto the ground, you know, when you do that, when you put just a little bit of a shadow underneath. Maybe it's like anchoring them to the ground. So see, if the light came up, his you know, shadow is going to be from about here to here. And the same with this one. His little tail is up, so it's going to be about from here to here. And this guy, he doesn't even need a shadow. He's just perched up here and he's happily looking down at everybody. We could put this little guy's little feet back in too. Just, you know, don't try to draw the whole thing in, you know, just a little bit, because we don't want to make that too prominent, you know, where the little feet are. And actually, maybe we can just put his little feet up there. Okay, that looks pretty good. I might just add a little bit more color into the background here. Maybe just a little darker back in here. You know, when you're, you know, doing the sky, you want to just kind of push that color around. And you can see here, you know, when I'm doing these projects, think about it, you know, as an oval or a circle, so that you're not extending your sky out too far. You know, in other words, you don't want to bring your sky clear out here and then have the ground stop here, because your eye doesn't know what's happening to the picture. So you want to keep it sort of in this area where it just continues like a circle, and it doesn't really have to end anywhere. It just looks like it just continues on, and nobody knows where it actually ends. Okay. Sign and date, that is the last thing to do. If you would like to have this one, please post that in the comments. And we will pick a winner for this one too. So now I'm just gonna, you know, just add a few little details. See where that connects in here? These little posts. You could also take your pencil and a ruler and attach these little pots. So think about it in threes. So one, straight down the middle, straight down the middle. And then the other two can kind of be hidden. You don't have to show the whole thing. And just kind of subtle. And you can darken any of these little lines too. Okay, you guys. And you can see here, I just darkened this little ring where they're attached onto the little pots. So let me just hold this up there so you can see little details. Anytime you add something dark in with your little twin tone, you're adding dimension. So if you can find little places to do that, it really, really makes a difference. And you can still, like I said, you can still get this set until tomorrow. This is the exclusive set. It's only, this is the only time we will be offering it. It's a one time a year. It's only for 3 days. So if you would like to get it, you can, and it really will be gone at the end of the year. So if you would like to have this little sample, be sure to put that in your comments. So let me switch my camera around here. Come back so I can say goodbye to you. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for following along with me. I hope that was helpful to you. If you do decide to buy this set, it is really, it's a really fun one. I mean, really is. Don't forget about the throwback. That is available still until tomorrow. You get this little guy free. And here is the throwback. It also comes with the instructions. So it doesn't have a booklet. This one does not have a booklet with it, but there are instructions on the back. And then there's a tutorial that I just did yesterday. So a full tutorial on how to put that together. And this little guy you get free, this little post. And it actually goes really well with this set. So here's a kind of a sample of the two together. This was on the instructional yesterday. So they go really well together. If you have bought this Easy Project C in the past, you have purchased this in the past, and you would like to have the new little freebie, you can get that with your order. So if you order in the next day or two and you put in the notes, I have Easy Project C, but I would love to have that freebie, we'll include it in your order. So you can get it, but only until tomorrow night. And then all of these will be gone. So they really will be gone after tomorrow. So we won't have any left. Don't forget about Deal of the Week, you guys. That is such a great deal. It's really fun to pick 7 sets every week. We just randomly pick them. There's lots of watercolor, and wow, are they marked down. 40, 60, 70% off, a lot of them. At least 40% off. Most of the time they're priced lower than that. So a really fun thing to look forward to every week. Monday, they come up Monday, and they go away on Sunday, and a new set comes up. Don't forget $50. Every $50 you get free shipping, you guys, and we know how much shipping is. So, okay, anybody have any questions about the exclusive, about the throwback? Give me or let me know if you have any questions. Kathy Akers, she just posted a bunch of bee icons. How funny. You guys, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about the, either the throwback or about the exclusive, you can email Leah, feedback@artimpressions.com, and she can answer any of those questions. Thank you so much for being with me on another Wednesday. I always look forward to it. Next week, I'll be back again, and we'll continue on with the holidays. So maybe next week, I haven't done a Halloween one for a while, so maybe one more fall or Halloween, and then we will be moving into Christmas, which is always my favorite. So stay tuned. There's more tutorials to come. If you didn't get Kendra's last night, her Back to Basics, it was so cute. She broke out the letter set and is working on that. So check that out. All of these videos will be on YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. Check out our blog. If you have not been to our blog, go to artimpressions.com, click blog, and check out our blog. There is so much inspiration on there, and our design team members are absolutely fabulous. They post every week, every day. And now one of our design team members has taken a little break for September, and we've got some guest designers on there. And some of them I'm sure you know. We've got about, 10 or 11 of them on there who have posted some guest designers from Tuesday, so from yesterday. So scroll down until you see those. And then I think it's Lynn on today. She has a cutest project. It's the Stamp Timber from Simon Says. So check that out too. So check out our blog. Lots and lots of inspiration on there. Check out our new designers on there, our guest designers. They are so good. There's so much inspiration everywhere. Tutorials on YouTube, tutorials on Facebook. They're all archived on there for you. And then of course we're back on live. Kendra on Tuesday, 5 o'clock Pacific time, and me every Wednesday at 10 Pacific time. So you guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you again next week.